Good afternoon, evening, or good morning. I am here to discuss a little bit about how to use some features in Pages. So I'll spare all of the reading of the learning targets and success criteria since this is a video, and if you are truly interested, I know that you can pause if you would like to read a little bit more. But I will read our learning target for today. So educators will gain knowledge about the functions and features of Pages and practice how to integrate Pages templates into everyday classroom instruction, thereby increasing engagement and your ability to differentiate. So the success criteria are listed. Essentially, we're going to go over some basic functions, how to use those basic functions in Pages and kind of spruce up and make some of our work a little bit more accessible for some of our friends. So I'm going to go ahead and open a Pages document that I've done and I worked on with Lindsay Harrington. So I'll head that direction. Don't judge the mess of the recents. Okay, so this was a document that Lindsay and I had made together about the law of conservation of mass. So this was all done with the intent of distributing this to students, allowing them to work in a partner or small group. And we have it differentiated because we have two different documents, one for 3 atoms and one for 2, so it's leveled, and it was easy just to copy the document and make a few changes. So that's where the differentiation piece can be nice and easy here. So we went ahead, made our checklist for what the kiddos needed to do. We have a space where they can write. We have some graphs that they're using and data tables that they're going to fill out. We have a link where they can click this button and it sends them to a separate page with videos on how to complete this skill if they're struggling. This is a similar page with a little bit more to it. Again, a link for help to a later page in the document with videos attached on how to complete this skill. We have some photos in here, and then our videos are placed and embedded in here as well. So this is a great little tool to have these videos to help some of our kiddos if you can't quite get to them or anything like that. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to set up a Pages template. All right, so I had actually started this page in a previous session just with some Pages basics. So how to add shapes and change their colors, how to add borders to the shapes, how to change the font and the font color of shapes, how to add text boxes, how to add photos, and how to add audio. So if you had watched that one, awesome. Thank you so much for watching. And I wanted to move forward with some more tips and on how to use Pages in ways that we kind of use it in our classrooms. So one of the things that we had also done in this was lock all of these items as well so that the students can't move them when they receive the document through schoolwork, with the exception of our audio. We don't want to lock that. We want to make sure that the kiddos can hear what we have to say or listen to those instructions. So the next thing I wanted to show everyone was adding an image gallery. And that's a really helpful tool that we use if we're doing, for example, like readings. Maybe we'll chunk a reading for kids and say, hey, read just the first picture and answer questions 1 and 2, just to kind of chunk that text for kids who may have trouble doing that reading in class, or if we want to kind of slow down the pace and focus what we're looking at. So in order to add an image gallery, we're going to hit the plus button. You need to make sure you're on the media tab all the way over here on the far right. And then you would go to image gallery. And with the image gallery, this is really awesome. You can actually add multiple photos, which is really a cool feature that you have on Pages if you want to kind of save some space here. So to do that, I'm going to hit plus, and I'm going to choose photos from my photo library, and it's going to allow me to pick multiple photos. So one of the things that I could do here that we're doing in our class is we're building molecules, and we want the kids to see how to build some of these for a chemical reaction of photosynthesis and the chemical reaction of cellular respiration. So the kids will build these with the molecule kits, but they don't necessarily need to know the bonding. So we are going to show them how to do this on a document. So with that, we give them these images. I also have the ability to add a caption down at the bottom so I could tell our kids that, hey, this is carbon dioxide. And then when they see the word, spelled it wrong. when they see the word, they'll know that this is in fact what I need to build with my molecular modeling kit. And then each caption is unique for the image. So I can add this as glucose, and then my next one is oxygen. So it's really nice because it's a way that kiddos can help themselves without having to really come see you, and it's a good resource to have. So this is something we do use in our classroom, and you can change the formatting of this. So to change the formatting of anything in Pages, we're going to utilize the paintbrush tool up at the top. And here I only have 2 tab options. I have gallery and arrange. So my gallery option is where I need to head. I can add titles and captions. So the captions were defaulted already to being individual for each, but if I wanted it to be the same for all, then I could do that. I can add that title. So if I wanted to tell everybody that these were the molecules we were using today, or the molecules we were building, I could do that. And you obviously can change the text, style, and font of your captions if you choose to do so. So I can make it bold. I can change the color, make it blue. So I have the ability to do that. One of the other fun things that we can do is we can make placeholders. So placeholders are a fun thing to do, especially if you want kids taking pictures, if you want them adding videos, any type of media really as proof or evidence of some of their learning. So a way to add a placeholder is we start by adding a shape. So I'm going to hit the plus button to add a shape, and I'm going to go to the Shapes tab. I'd pick a simple shape because the photo is going to take the shape of the object that you pick. So I'm going to pick this one. Okay, I'm going to make a placeholder here. Okay, and I'm going to change the color to match, and I'm going to do that really quickly and really easily by using the eyedropper tool. So I'll go ahead and make sure my shape is selected, go to the paintbrush. I then go to the Style tab. I'll go to Fill. I will tap on Color, and then I'll head to sliding to the left, and then I'll click that eyedropper down here. And the eyedropper, I'm going to tap on my other one, and it magically makes it this color. This is one of my favorite tools so that I can get everything to match that I need. So then, hopefully you know by now you can just directly type in a shape. If I type hit the plus button to add, type this in. Right, I'm going to make this placeholder. And there will be a plus button that appears at the bottom, so trust me on that one. So you can say something along the lines, hit the plus button or tap here to add your media, whatever you're feeling. If you want to be specific for younger children about what they should be adding, you can place that here as well. So the next step that I want to take, I might just change the font here a little bit, make it bold and big so our kiddos know. Now I have to take a screenshot. You can zoom in, but I just go ahead and take the whole page and crop it down. So once I get this all cropped down, okay, I'm going to hit done and save it to my photos. And this is going to sound really counterintuitive, but you're going to delete this shape that you just made. And then I'm going to go ahead back up here to the plus button. And once I've done that, I'm going to go to the Media tab. And once I've hit the Media tab, I'm going to go ahead and go to Photo or Video, and it'll show up in my most recents. So you guys can see I have a few down here from some things I was working on the other day. But I'm going to go ahead and tap on my most recent one. And now it's a photo, but it looks exactly the same as before. And now I can set it as a placeholder because it's a photo. You cannot make shapes placeholders. So now that I have my photo of my shape, I'm going to go ahead up to the paintbrush. I'll tap on it, and then I have to go from the Style tab to the Arrange tab. And I'm going to, you go to the Image tab, that's my fault. You go to the Image tab, and you're going to set it as a placeholder. So I'll set it as a placeholder, and now I get the magic little plus button. And when I hit the plus button, I have this choose video, take photo or video from, or insert from option, which is awesome. So your kids can input anything here as evidence of their learning, which I think is really awesome. It's a cool tool, it's a cool feature. Just as something to be noted, that if you have students add videos and they export a document as a PDF, those videos won't work for you to grade. So you would want to make sure, that you are having them submit via schoolwork, or you're checking the work via schoolwork so that you have access to that video. Same thing goes if students are responding with an audio recording. You don't want to export that as a PDF. You'd lose that function of being able to hear their responses. So far, we have our text boxes, which were covered in the first video, and adding text to shapes. This video so far, we have added in our last video, we also added photos, and we changed the background color and added an audio. In this video so far, we have added our image gallery, and we have added a placeholder. So you can make future placeholders if you'd like, or you can certainly make them each time you make a new document. We kind of make them, Lindsay and I, each time we have a new document, just so that it matches. So the next thing I want to show everybody is how to link a website. So you can link a website on a Pages document, but you can actually link a further Pages page to from one to another. And I'll explain what we kind of use that for and why that can be helpful. So one of the things we do is we'll link articles from Science World or anything that we need the kiddos to read online, or that might be helpful for them, or websites they might need. We link them directly in a Pages document if that's where they're working from for the day. So for example, I'm going to go ahead and unlock this shape and edit it so that I can add a link and show you guys that. So to add a link, all right, I'm going to go ahead and, I'm going to tap right here, and I'm going to go ahead and say, click here for more tips. So I'm going to go ahead and make myself a little sentence here that says a click here. So we all hopefully know that, when we make a hyperlink, those click here's, that's what I'm going to highlight and try to get my reader to click. So I'm going to go ahead and select what I want to be my hyperlink to that website. And I have, for example, this black toolbar pops up. I'm going to click on the word that says link. So I'm going to go ahead and tap on link. And now I have a few options. I have this web page option, and then this is where we're going to go in the future, is I have a page option. So for right now, I'm going to click web page, and I just need the link for that web address. So I found a web address that we're going to link, and it's how to get tips notifications on your iPad. So I'm going to tap, obviously, at the top where my web address is. The black toolbar pops up, and I'm going to hit copy. And then I'm going to come back to my Pages document and paste the link in. And then I hit done and back. And now if I tap on it, it's going to tell me open link. So I can open that link, which is a really cool feature, and it'll open up this tab for me. If you wanted to link a page that's further down in the document, now we do this for a few different reasons. One, on our multiple page documents where we have options for the kiddos, we say, click the box here or click here, and we put like a shape, and I'll show you what I mean. So for example, maybe somebody needed some help with this. I'm going to add a small shape here by hitting the plus button because we're adding something. I like to use the circle for this, and my kids are kind of used to it at this point. So I went ahead and used the circle, and I'm going to put a little verbiage in here and say, click here for help at this step. So, too big for the shape. I'm going to make it a smaller font so that it fits. And the reason I do it as a separate shape is because when I go to distribute this eventually, I'm going to end up blocking pretty much everything on the page and share it with my students. But if I lock whatever has the link for the page that's further in Pages, it is not going to allow the people to click the link. So we want to make sure I'm able to leave it unlocked. So if I tap on the shape, it'll give me the option to add a link here. So I'm going to go ahead and add a link. And instead of web page, I'm going to hit page. And now I have the option to select which page I'm going to link this to. So if I tap on it, obviously we'd have far more than just 2, but I'll select 2 for now. And then I'm going to hit back, and now I have this nice little link. And it shows up as this orange little arrow here at the bottom. So what we've been doing is a little bit more complex things that we're doing, or steps or skills that our kids might be struggling with. We're making screen recorded videos, placing them all the way at the bottom of our documents, whether they be pages or numbers. And we're adding a link just like this saying, hey, if you need help or want to watch a video, click here. So if I can't get to you immediately, I can just, maybe shout across the room, click the link on the page, it'll take you to a video. And then our kids should hopefully be able to watch the video, follow along, and get the assistance that they need, as well as our kiddos at home. So this is a little bit more of an advanced feature that we have, as well as adding our placeholders for images and videos, and our media galleries that we add. So hopefully some of these tips and tricks have been helpful, or these tools to add to your next set of Pages documents. At this time, I am going to just quickly discuss how we distribute our work. So if you know how to distribute your work, or you're looking for a new way to distribute your work, I'll just discuss with you guys how Lindsay and I share our work, which is, not the only way, nor is it exactly the right way, but this is just how we do it. So let's say I have my all finished page. Everything's locked that can be locked. So I'll go ahead and lock my items. You can lock image galleries. I'm going to relock this shape just to make sure. So if you didn't know how to lock, I can walk through that step again really quickly. I'll unlock this one. If you don't know how to lock something, probably should just mention it. Paintbrush in the upper right hand corner. You go to arrange, and then you click lock, and it keeps it from moving now. But remember, you don't want to lock anything that's linked, and you don't want to lock your placeholders, because then kids won't be able to add their images or their media. You can lock something that has a hyperlink in the text. That'll still work here, I believe. And if it doesn't, we're going to hit unlock, and now it should. Might just not be clicking in the right spot. Let's just test this real quick and see. Pretty sure we can lock it and still access the link. No, this has to be unlocked. So if you do have a hyperlink in that text in the shape doesn't. So any types of links, we were right, have to be unlocked, and then I believe the audio does as well. So just a few little things. You can lock those shapes, you can lock those photos, you can lock the image gallery, but you don't want to lock anything that has a hyperlink with it. And you also don't want to lock that placeholder, audio, or if you have videos too, you can embed videos from YouTube just by having the web address. So in order to do that, you'd hit the plus button, and then you would go to media tab, and then you would go to web video. So I don't have a link right now, but I think you guys are probably pretty good at copying links at this point in the year. And after all of our wonderful distance learning, you would enter the web page here. So you just copy it from online and paste it in here, and it pops up nice and pretty for the kids to just watch in Pages, which is awesome. The only downfall is they can't rewind, and they can't control, going back and forth. If they need to rewatch something, they have to rewatch the whole video. It's the only pitfall here. So, like I said, our next step was just going to be to look at how we share our work. So, we share our work with our students through Schoolwork. And if you've never used Schoolwork, I think they have some Tech Summit classes or sessions on that, but I'm just going to go briefly through the basics here so we can share our document. So I would tap on my class, and then I'm going to come all the way up to the upper right-hand corner and hit the plus sign. You have to title it. So I would title it maybe Boca Tech Summit page. And then I can distribute it to my whole block. If I want to distribute it to just a few kiddos, I can uncheck the whole block and pick who it wants to go to. Really a great tool for differentiation, especially if you've duplicated your Pages document, edited the few things you need for the kiddos who need it, whether it be you reading through a passage, you reading instructions, directions, anything like that to make learning more accessible for others. So I'm going to go ahead and hit done. We'll leave it for the whole class. You have options for due dates, changing the date. You can add some instructions, but we're going to add our activity. So this is how we attach our document. And then you're going to go to Files, and it's actually going to come up as Recents. All right, so it'll come up in our Recents, which is nice. If you were working on it maybe last week, 2 days ago, one of my recommendations is just pull it up real quick before you get to schoolwork, because then it'll be right here. So I'm going to go ahead and tap on it. And once I've done that, I have a few different options. So it says editable copy. And if I click on this I right here, I can have it so that each student has their own file. I can have it so that they can collaborate together on the same file. And then you can have it so that it's a read only, which is really nice. So like if you want to give your kids a page and you're like, hey, we're going to read this as a class. Here it is in front of you. It can be a read only. So only I can make changes. Maybe I want to highlight so everybody has the same set of highlighted text and annotated text. That way they all have the same thing. We go through it together. This one's really powerful as well because they get the same document. They can be working on it at the same time. So I'm going to leave it as each student can edit their own file. And then I'm going to hit publish. And it's going to go to each of my kiddos. So I'll show you what that looks like for our kiddos. And I'll grab this one because I believe it's a Pages document. And one of the cool things that this does is it'll tell me ready for review. Those are my kiddos who have submitted it. It'll tell me the average time they spent on it. It'll give me total word counts. It's really cool. So if I tap on someone's, and I'll grab Jaden's, right, it'll give me some information over here, which they'll probably talk about in the schoolwork activity, session. If I tap on the activity, it's going to download this individual student so I can check her progress and monitor it on how she's doing. Even if I'm not in the classroom or she's not here, I can leave feedback. And this could be essentially how I grade it as well if that's the choice I make. I pop back to schoolwork. And this would be how I have to look at things if they've chosen to respond with a video or an audio recording. Because remember, you can't export that as a PDF or else you lose that feature. It'll tell me who's not started, who's in progress. It's actually really, really a fun app to use as we go through the school year. We've learned more and more about it. The other thing I wanted to kind of show everybody in this session was how cool it is in Pages that you can collaborate with someone else. So a lot of the time, with teaching, it's great to divide and conquer. So Lindsay and I typically work in a team, and one of the things that you can do is actually collaborate on a document at the same time. So it can go a lot faster in what you make. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to do that. In order to do that, you hit the little plus person sign up here in the toolbar, and you're going to get some options. So I'm going to share this file, and I'm going to message it to Lindsay, and then she'll have access to the file when she opens it. I can change the share options, but it defaults to these, which allows people to make changes as long as they've been sent the link. So I'm going to go ahead and message this to Lindsay. She's going to get a notification that she has this, and she can open it and she can work with me on this document. So it's going to tell me starting collaboration, and then this is going to live in both of our iCloud drives, which is great. Once the collaboration is started and everything is all put together, I'll have access to knowing if Lindsay has accessed the document or if she's on. So if she joins, like a nice little check mark, so it means it's sent successfully. If she's joined, it'll tell me Lindsay Harrington has joined, and I will know she's going to be working, and it'll tell me where she's working. So it's a lot like, I think, OneDrive in that aspect, but it's really cool. So if I tap on it, it'll show me the people, right? And she can add people, right? I can take that away from her. I can change some settings though, and I can add additional people. So here's where we'll usually add our EAs and things like that once the document's all done. Oops, didn't like that. So overall, those are just some of the features that we use on a regular basis. I'm sure a lot of people have really creative ways to use these in the future, but I did want to put it out there if any of you need help, want help. My email is, and I'll drop it down here at the bottom. I'll delete my placeholder. It is just the standard Worcester email. So I'll just give you the kfprettyman at worcesterk12.org. You can email me. And at that point, like Lindsay and I love pages, so we'll kind of bounce around ideas if you're having trouble or if something's going on. But hopefully this was helpful if you already had some knowledge about pages and we're just looking to dive a little bit deeper into some of the features and some things you could do.